We have read how the psalmist pants for God like a thirsty deer for the water brooks. But today, I want us to read the testimony of Job and his yearning for the Lord. Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Tuesday. We all know Job for the woes that he faced in his life. As a test of his faith, he lost all his possessions. He lost all his children in an accident. He lost his health as he was covered with boils. And then to make matters worse, his own wife called upon him to just curse God and die. And then there were Job's friends who showed up not to comfort him, but to accuse him of having sin in his life that brought on all these troubles that he was facing. So Job gives a very moving testimony in Job 19, and I'd like for us to hear all of it. He says in Job 19, verse 23, "Oh, that my words were written. Oh, that they were inscribed in a book, that they were engraved on a rock with an iron pen and lead forever. For I know that my Redeemer lives, and he shall stand at the last on the earth, and after my skin is destroyed, this I know, that in my flesh I shall see God, whom I see for myself, and my eyes shall behold, and not another, how my heart yearns within me." Job could have testified about all the woes that he had befallen him. Or his testimony could be about the suffering that he had experienced, even though God tells us that Job was a very righteous man. But Job's real testimony was so real and authentic that he wanted everyone to hear it. It's odd that he wishes it could be engraved on a rock with an iron pen to be read forever. And yet today, thousands of years later, we're reading his testimony preserved for posterity's sake. Despite the fact that God seems to be silent in his life, and he has not intervened to rescue him from all the great troubles he has faced at every turn, perhaps this calls for the great question of our time. Why do bad things happen to good people? But this is where our faith answers those questions decisively. I know that my Redeemer lives. He didn't have to see some miraculous deliverance in order to believe in God. He didn't have to be rescued in a grand way to still call God his Redeemer. You see, the picture of Christ as our Redeemer today means that he has paid the price for our sins. His vicarious suffering and death on Calvary is what redeems us from sin. So Job cries out, "He shall stand as the last on the earth, and after my skin is destroyed, this I know, that in my flesh I shall see God, whom I shall see for myself, and my eyes shall behold, and not another." His testimony was clearly, God is not dead. He's alive and well in the heavens. So despite the fact that his friends blamed his woes on sin, and his wife called for him to curse God and die, Job says, no, I still place all my faith in my Redeemer, and I look forward to eternity. That is the beautiful picture here. One day at the end, after this world is gone, I'll see God, even in my own flesh. Last words of this testimony is, how my heart yearns within me. Job had said some pretty accusing things about God in his defense against his friends. But now he says, in my heart, there is a great yearning for God, and perhaps even for that picture of eternity and the wonderful gift he would receive there, an inheritance. I don't know what's keeping us today from yearning for God or calling upon him regularly. But when we see Job's life and we read his testimony of yearning for God, his Redeemer, it leaves us with no excuse today. No excuse for not seeking God in a very real and personal way every day.